Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the City of North College Hill City Council Rules and Public Policy Meeting. Does everyone have the agenda?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. And I apologize for getting that out so late. It has just been a very busy week, busy summer, and I'm sure we all have had that. Meeting minutes, I'm still working on those. I'm working diligently to get those done, actually. And thank you for, because I've gone back through my notes, and Marjorie and Mary Jo have sent me minutes, so that's helping the process along. So I should be able to send those to everyone to review and approve for the next meeting.
Side note, I strongly urge you to check mine. Because there's a very good chance that it wasn't a complete thought, because I'm just like,
Well,
so just.
the minutes don't have to be like verbatim.
Yeah,
No,
mine are
I'm just
perfect,
saying,
so-
it might not even be a complete thought, I probably didn't check them very well, I just sent it
No,
to you.
they
when
look good to me.
All right.
All
right.
So, when I would do the minutes, I tend to go overboard sometimes, so that's my
All good.
problem. But,
Well,
And-
Mary Jo and I, this is will probably come up later, but we were organizing council minutes and agendas, and trust me, it is much better to go overboard than some of the past council members who have gone very much underboard. So
Yeah.
don't ever apologize for going overboard.
Ever.
Then we found some minutes that were literally one sentence long from like probably an hour meeting. So never apologize.
okay, yeah, I don't have any of those.
No.
I have like pages, like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So,
My philosophy is, if someone's not sitting here watching us, they should be able to gather exactly what we were talking about.
right,
Yep.
Otherwise, how could it possibly be called minutes?
for
It
sure.
would just be called, briefs. Seconds.
One sentence for a 1 hour meeting, seconds.
Yeah.
Ms. Blythe, what I'm going to ask you to do is to put that microphone closer to you.
Oh, it's not close enough. Okay, I thought it
It's
was
not.
too close.
It is not. I had an opportunity to watch the meeting.
Yep.
When I was on vacation, because I just can't get enough of North College Hill City Council, apparently. And what I found is when the microphones were not close, you can't hear what's
Oh.
being said at all.
Okay, wow. You mean like within 6 inches or 1 foot?
It needs to be close, like this close. Otherwise,
They won't
people
register.
watching can't hear.
Yeah, I had the same issue when I was watching them on vacation as well.
I didn't know that. It's good to know.
Okay, so I have the only thing I have on the rules and public policy agenda is council rules, but that's something that we have been working on. And we can work on that today if everybody likes. I know that there was something someone mentioned at a prior meeting that we should talk about, but I don't remember what that was. Does anybody remember?
Yeah, it's I don't know if this is it, I'm sorry, but something else is the paper that we were gonna have, whoever is presenting like a piece of legislation to us to fill out.
I have that
Yeah,
in my email.
yeah, and we had asked,
Completed.
because Arias was going to,
She finished it.
yeah, and then Ron, I guess, hasn't started using, honestly, I haven't started using it either, and I know
I've
I've,
sent it to him, so
okay,
I need to do that. That's on me. So
okay.
the form is complete. I have it in my email somewhere. I was looking for it today. Didn't find it, so I just need to, the email is the format of it is very strange. I don't like it, so,
You probably just search for Maria's.
yeah, I could.
Yeah, I don't like Outlook either, but so I understand your pain, but I'm glad no, it's done. That's good.
Yeah, so it is done. It's out there somewhere, because it probably would have been helpful for this piece of legislation that we're looking at now, so So there, yep, so the form. Get the form to everyone. Yep, that form is done. So with regard to the council rules, what does everybody want to do with the council rules?
Can't remember what we were talking about.
I think what we would really need to do is kind of, this is my thought, schedule a special meeting to just go through kind of and figure out what we want to do, if anything, with them. I mean, it just seems to me like there's just a few sections that are problematic or unclear. But, for the most part, it seems like, they're okay.
If we do that special meeting, is there any way that, like, those parts that are unclear or problematic could be, like, highlighted? Because I'm not sure if I have read them diligently enough to know
Yes.
what exactly is problematic or contradicting or concerning.
Absolutely.
That might even be subjective.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Absolutely. So I think that that's what we would do, but, we would want input from everyone.
Right.
So,
Doesn't mean if it affects everybody.
yeah.
Well, unless your agenda is heavy, let me talk to my mic. Unless your agenda is heavy, we could, as this group, like a streamlined group, find those problematic places and then bring that to the committee of the whole. And
Yeah, like
maybe that
find them
would
right now.
shorten the committee of the whole meeting, so it's not a 4-hour meeting.
I agree. And
Yeah.
the committee of the whole meeting that I schedule will never be 4 hours. Okay? Just know
You're my
that.
favorite.
I've seen that. It will not happen with me. Just won't happen. Not at all. I will cut people off. We are adjourned. We are finished. There will not be any 4-hour meetings. So I think that sounds like a dandy idea. There have been some times in the meetings where before our resignation of a former council member where we had talked about some of the rules, but I think that we probably just need to revisit some of that because maybe some of the issues that we had before we may not have now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important for any body, especially a governing body, to review their rules and standards frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one that you talked about, 6.3, the limitation of debate. I don't think we were enforcing that in PAD. That was one issue we talked about.
It was like if we're in a whole council meeting and we're talking about something, if I speak, then I can't talk again until everybody has had the chance to speak. But I think that we brought that up to Mike. I think we brought that one up and then another one that was like making sure that we're going in order of who said president first. I have noticed that I feel like to me, it feels like it hasn't really been an issue, but if we still feel like it being an issue, I think it would just be a matter of bringing it up to Mike.
I feel like he has done a much better job.
Yeah.
of
Yes,
I agree.
yes.
in line.
Yeah, I would agree.
Fair to say that?
I would totally agree.
And I think it's because we brought this to his attention.
Yeah.
We are the guilty parties.
Oh, for sure.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
It's us.
Right. Oh, for sure.
But we just need.
Well, it's you. It's not me. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, it's all me. It's all me. I'll take it.
No, yeah, but I feel like that really hasn't been an issue since we brought it up to Mike. Unless anybody disagrees.
And again, I think that particular rule is in place, just in case everybody wants to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that, if nobody wants to speak, then it's okay if, Mary Jo and Mary Dewald want to speak in turn if nobody else wants to speak. I think that was where someone was getting confused about the rule or the interpretation about the rule.
Oh, can I just point out that even our committee names are not current? So at a minimum, we have to
Update
address
the committee names.
Section 10, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and we did that too, 7.7. I made that suggestion where Ms. Duval did it, yeah, when she was clerk, but where on our legislation, we just have a brief one-liner describing what it is for somebody that might be visiting or,
Yeah.
yeah. So that one's been done. I'll put a check on that.
Right.
We did that one.
Do we need to add that? Do we need to add that to the rules though for, yeah.
Yes.
It might be good to do that. I just hand wrote it in the rules, but that would be good. But I think it's helpful for anyone, even us, that just,
Yeah, because that part, the part that you're referring to is not in the rules.
no, it's not.
So we do need to add that.
Okay.
7.7 council agenda.
Okay.
Rule 7.7, thank you.
So the most recent adopted version of the rules was adopted in January of 2020. Is that right?
That's what I believe to be true.
Okay.
Just be,
No,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going through my memory, which is failing. But I feel like we probably did approve them since then. We probably just didn't make any edits.
Okay.
Really quickly, sorry, just the one thing she mentioned about adding in 7.7, I'm writing it down in the minutes, but is there somewhere that we want to kind of keep this list? Like, are you keeping a list, or do you want one of us to keep a separate list of things that we're going to bring up in the committee of whole?
I can create a list.
Okay.
I will do that under action items.
Okay. Because I have like the changes we're discussing, but I mean, minutes are long and,
Right.
Very.
or should be.
Also, the public records policy, was that ever updated? Does anybody know?
So
Say it again, I was reading. Sorry.
No, you're fine. For how long we're going to keep public records for?
Right.
So I remember Matt Miller Novak talked to Bill Dieters, and I think it was some like some of the things we couldn't change, and like we had to have it forever, and then other things it was like we had to go based on what the state was, and then I think because Matt was in charge of that, and then I think when he left it just kind of got dropped. So long answer short, no, nothing ever changed with retention policy. It's still that we had to keep all papers all the time, forever and ever.
Yeah, that
Maybe we
sounds
need
like
to- Maybe we need to talk to Bill Dieters again and
right.
find out what we're allowed to change it to.
Right.
Okay.
Like, where are the limits?
Because I can't, that can't be right.
No,
Right.
can't.
Did we ever figure out, like, did you guys get access to posting things on the website?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Okay, that's exciting. So how did you guys decide that the minutes and the agendas would be put on the website?
We haven't talked about that, but in the, we just got access last week, the end of the week.
So
We had, so
2 days ago?
We haven't really posted anything yet.
I haven't even tried to log in yet because the weekend happened and I was also working on my classroom last week. I was planning on I'm working on it tomorrow. Yeah.
Can we talk about this later?
Sure.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with legislation. It's just that I don't want to throw anybody under the bus
I know.
on live TV.
I
So if
know.
I could just tell you later about how I got the access.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
I promise we're not keeping any government secrets.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, but I can tell you, and I'm really happy about it, and I'm really proud of me and Mary Jo. She and I went up a couple weeks ago, pat on our backs, and organized from 2016 on.
Yep.
Yeah. So 2016, 2017, there's like really little on 2018, 2019. There's nothing on 2020. There's nothing on 2021, and obviously nothing on 2022 for any of the minutes and agendas. But I mean, that's a lot of our faults because that's us, you know. So, but the folders are there. The folders are ready to go. It's organized. It's really easy to tell how it's organized. So if you want to go in, if anybody goes in there and prints out their minutes and agendas, it's really easy to tell how we organize the rest of it. Just look back at one of the folders. But I'm pretty sure we put like December in the back, January in the front. The agenda is in front. The minutes for that meeting are in the back. And then there's a folder for each committee. The committees change names frequently.
Which is
Which is,
evident
yeah.
when you look at council
So
rules.
they're not organized by like, oh, which committee comes first or whatever. They're organized alphabetically. So, but yeah, I mean, it looks good and it's organized and it's easy to get stuff out. The only thing is that we're going to have to contact Matt Miller-Novak for a lot of stuff, for his minutes and agendas, or maybe talk to whoever, if anybody still has access to anything in his Google Drive at all. I'm assuming we don't, but and then we'll also, which I mean, I can look back at my, well, I guess we don't have the Google emails anymore. I'm sure we can find it somewhere. And I think Amber Bailey was missing a couple things. Elizabeth Hartman wasn't the chair of anything. I'm trying to remember if anybody else was. But I think it's just Matt and Amber. If we can just contact them and get their 2020 stuff for the physical and the digital copies.
Okay.
So who's owning that? Are we?
I don't have Amber's number.
I do. I'll reach out to her. I have her number.
Okay. So if you want to reach out to Amber, I have Matt's number. I can call him. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
I'll call him.
Thank you. Thank you.
That might be awkward. I'll call.
No comment.
All right, nobody else is going to take the bullet.
Yeah, I'll call. It'll be
Okay,
fine.
thank you.
That's a bazooka.
Okay. Okay.
Who's going to talk to Dieters about the retention policy stuff?
I'll talk to him.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him in a while, so probably should give him a buzz and see how everything's going. I haven't seen him at a meeting in a while.
I was going to say, do you care to check in to make sure that he will be at the council meeting in August because we need to talk to him.
That's important.
Yes, especially since he's required to be there.
He's also,
But-
I asked him to come to my committee meeting for City Community Development and Recreation too. So, I mean, hopefully he'll be at that too, but yeah, no, he hasn't been here in a while. He does send a representative
We will
though.
need executive session is where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
For an item that he has previously been working on.
Okay.
yeah.
Do we need that for the next council meeting or the next committee meeting?
Council,
Council.
August
Okay.
1st, August, whatever.
August 1st.
Okay. And you guys are going to add that to the
Calendar.
agenda, right?
I already
Okay.
did.
Oh, okay. You're not gonna, meeting's not gonna last a long time, is it?
Uh-oh.
You guys are not answering me.
Bring cheese crackers like the last one.
Yeah, somebody bring crackers. That's
That was
awesome.
good. That
So I
was
should
good.
bring a fruit tray.
I'll get subs from Italianette. It'll be great.
Hello, Crooked.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
I still remember that night. We were here until 10:50 p.m., but I heard it's been later in the past.
I've been here
so
till 1 before.
Scary.
All right, what's next?
It's interesting that you said that I was looking at the section that says, any member desiring to be excused while council is in session shall obtain such permission from the presiding officer and notify the clerk of council. Members shall be excused by a majority of members present. That there used to be someone who just used to get up and announce that they were leaving.
So I have actually a question for that. So let's say that somebody like wants to be excused to use the restroom and then they come back. Do then they need to be reintroduced through a vote as well? Is that in there?
You would take a 5-minute recess and everyone would be.
Everybody would?
Yeah, you have to, that's why you have to
That's
vote
what
on
we
it.
usually
Yeah.
do.
Right, but if that's saying like an excuse, like you're just excused by, you're not coming back to this
You
meeting?
still have to take a vote, the majority of people, even if it's just one person.
Right, but what I'm saying is, okay, so let's say one person gets voted and is excused to go use the restroom. Then they come back and want to rejoin the meeting. Do they then need another vote to rejoin that meeting?
It doesn't say that.
Right, so
But-
then
but
how
you-
do they?
According to Robert's Rules of Order, yes, you would. Because if not, you are still absent.
Right.
And therefore you cannot vote on anything.
So then
You're not there.
Right, so should we change or add something in there that says this person will be reintroduced through a majority vote as well or something?
I don't think
I
we
think-
need to do that.
I think
just
it's,
because
I think
we-
it's two different
Yeah,
things.
and
Two
I-
different
and-
scenarios.
One is you're calling a 5-minute recess and then just
Everybody goes.
take care of whatever you have to
Whatever you
take
need to
care
do.
of. Or you are leaving and you don't plan to come back.
Okay, that makes sense. They would be used in two different scenarios.
That's what I believe. That's
Gotcha.
my
Okay.
interpretation of that.
Right, and I think that just saying that we follow Robert's Rules of Order, which I believe is in here somewhere.
It is.
I think that should cover it. Okay. I have a question about the ad hoc committees. Do you know, like, how the ad hoc committees came to be the ad hoc committees? Like, why do we have,
Ad hoc reports.
well, why do we have some of those committees? Like, I don't know, just,
I think because a lot of those are external to us. So like
The CIC.
the CIC or the senior center, it's not, we just send a representative and then they report back and tell, otherwise we all have to go to every meeting.
Oh, okay,
we don't want to do
makes
that.
sense.
for
No, we
sure.
don't want to do that.
that makes sense.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
And again, I am telling you my personal opinion, whether that's the way it is. I
No,
don't
that's
know.
all
That's a
right.
good idea.
The one thing I would say, though, because I think some of our ad hoc committees, we don't get reports from very often.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to list them and kind of prompt the people that are on those ad hoc committees, or
Well, and I'm wondering too, what if instead, like, because I mean, so the tree board, I like reports to like city community development and recreation, just because I don't think there was anything even in our legislation that said that. It just made more sense for you to report to us. I'm saying you because you're the representative.
Yep.
But so I'm kind of wondering maybe if, like, maybe there's something like that, or maybe it's more appropriate for ad hoc to report into a specific committee, or do we want every ad hoc committee to report to general counsel?
the only problem I could potentially see with that is not everyone is on every committee.
Right.
So
see?
if I report
That's what I was thinking,
from the tree board, then there's 3 people that aren't hearing that report.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is the chamber,
I am open to either way, but I'm sorry I stepped on you.
is there Chamber of Commerce, is there anyone from council in that group, now that you mentioned
I don't
ad
think that
hoc
there's-
committee?
I am.
But
Oh,
she's not as like
oh.
a representative.
I'm not a
she's in there as member.
representative, but I am a member of the
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce. But I think
The tender meetings.
we've had a member, a representative. I don't know that we do right now.
Mr. O'Shea was back in
Right.
the day.
Okay, that kind of.
Right.
You know
And
what?
then it
I
kinda-
remember, though, when I first joined, because we were talking about having a member for that, and I was saying I couldn't go because of whatever nights it was on. I remember saying that. But I think we have a representative for that now.
Those
And
are
I-
during the day, aren't they?
Yeah, those are during the day, for
Oh.
sure.
Yeah, and I
That
could be
was-
wrong, but
yeah.
I think you're a representative because you were saying you were. I could totally be wrong right now.
You could be right. I have,
But I remember discussing this about having a representative for the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
So it wasn't that long ago, a little over a year.
Okay.
is there a list of all the ad hoc committees
That's what I was
somewhere?
just going to say. Maybe we need to create that.
Okay.
Unless,
So,
I think maybe the president may have that, because whenever there's an opening, he's always going around the table.
Well, that's different though, because that's what needs to have a representation from council. Because not
Okay.
all ad
Ad
hocs
hoc.
would
Oh.
have a representative from council. Am I wrong or am I right?
Okay,
And I
okay.
think he might even be going from the charter, because there's some of
Mr.
those
Graber.
committees are listed in the charter that you have to have a.
Right. Like, we don't have to have a representative on the tree board, but since Mary Jo is but the tree board's supposed to answer to council. So since Mary Jo is already a member of the tree board, it's just easier for her to be our representative. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the UPC still going?
The what?
UPC?
Unified Progress Committee.
Oh, I remember that committee.
No. It hasn't been disbanded, but we haven't met.
Now I'm looking for the ad hocs. It's
And,
probably in here somewhere. Oh, I have the document here. This is the charter. All I have to do is open it up and look for ad hoc. Okay.
Ad hoc is ADHOC, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna open the
Thank you.
Is it
document
hyphenated though?
and do a find.
I
however
think
you
there's a
call it,
hyphen
Control
between
F.
ad and hoc.
Yeah, I pinned them to the top of my email, so I'll look up ad hoc. Oh, I have to download.
So I have a list: the Chamber of Commerce, CIC, Senior Center, Tree Board, and UPC. What other ones can we think of?
Do a Control F.
Oh, what's the one on,
yes.
what's the one on Thursdays?
CIC.
No, Thursdays during the day, downtown.
Oh,
Rita.
Nobody could go to.
Right.
Isn't it Rita?
No.
no,
I think I'm.
I know what you're talking about.
It's an important one.
Okay,
Okay,
aye.
Okay.
Our brains just connected.
I thought you volunteered for it during the summer.
No, I said if I need to be a swing during the summer, I could do
Oh.
a swing during the summer.
Okay.
I thought Miss DeWalt
That's what I think too.
volunteered for that.
I think she is.
No, I was our Rita, I think,
You're
which
the Rena
because
alternate.
nobody else wanted to do it, and they said that they never met, so I said perfect.
Okay, so Rita is one, too. And then there's something about taxes or something.
Isn't that Rita?
No, there
Rita
was
is taxes.
something about,
Regional income tax.
no,
I'm not sure.
oh, I don't, that's
Sounds
terrible.
like.
I know.
Give me something.
They only meet when necessary.
That's Rita.
I think
That is Rita?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Regional Income Tax Audit or something, agency.
I thought there was two of those, though, two of those such committees that only met when necessary or something, because wasn't Miss Bailey the representative for like both of them? Something was something about mortgages or something.
Let me,
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Confirmation that I am not crazy, not
You're
crazy.
not, but it's not. It's way back here, and I
Right.
can't bring it up here yet.
what was that document called that when Mary Dewald was our
Clerk.
clerk, she sent out, she had put together with all the like representatives.
Right, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was on that, I think.
Let me see. That's, the problem is with this new new mail, it's annoying.
I know, I don't like it.
Let me see.
And then it lets us get state spam also. Just don't look at it.
Okay, let's see. I have one
Found it.
for, I was supposed to say, yeah, I have one for July or September 2021.
That's,
Is
is
the one you
that?
have?
No, I have January 1st, 2021. When did you say yours was?
July?
Okay, so yours is newer than mine.
Okay, let's see. Look at that.
What is it called?
ICRC, Senior Center Board, OKI, NCA School Board.
And that was Matt, and that hasn't been replaced. Can I take that? What night do they meet? No, I couldn't take it because they
meet
meet
on
at
Mondays.
City Community Development and
Yep.
Recreation time.
Okay.
I'm
Then,
sorry, say that again. It's, you said Rita, ICRC, NCH School Board.
Senior
OKI.
Center Board. Sorry. Senior Center
Want to
Board.
hear something funny?
What?
Chamber of Commerce, it has
Mary Jo Zorb. That's what I just saw too. You were a representative, yeah. That's what I just saw too. That's really
TIF. That was what I was trying to
Oh, that is
remember.
it.
TIF.
Yep.
That was Mr. Miller Novak, so we got to figure that out. Tax Incentive Review, which is separate from TIF. And then CRA, Reinvestment Area Housing, which is Mary Jo and Marjorie. And also Rita, which is, I guess, it says open, but I guess
That was me
Marjorie.
then.
Okay. Alternate Mary Jo and CIC.
So I think it's the opposite now, isn't it? Or is it that?
I'm sorry, what?
I was thinking you were the alternate. Am I the alternate?
You're the alternate.
Awesome.
Yeah, because they had a meeting, but neither of us could attend. I don't know if you remember, it was about a month ago.
We're both on vacation. of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, look at that.
What?
Found a whole list. And it was there.
But it
So-
probably needs, I bet the tree board's not on that.
It is not.
And the
But we don't have
UPC's
to-
probably not on that either.
Which one?
The UPC.
UPC, nope.
But we
UPC
also
or
don't
tree
have
board.
to legally have a representative from council on the tree board.
Is it part of the legislation?
No,
Wasn't?
no.
Okay.
It's just that they report to council.
Okay.
Yeah. I am 99% sure. Because I remember when we thought that we had to have a representative and that was going to be you, and then there was the whole thing where you had to be like added as a member into because there's like a whole website for it.
So I think at the next meeting, well, maybe not the next council meeting because we have an executive session. At the next meeting after next, we can kind of clean this up. I don't want to extend our meeting by any longer than we need to.
But do you want to forward that to Graver
Yes,
and kind of put a bug in his ear?
absolutely. The only things that are not listed on here are UPC, which we probably need to figure out because Mr. Miller Novak was the president of that, but now that he's gone, and he can't even be on it, I don't think, per the rules of the committee. We need to figure that out.
So is that committee like is that committee formed through council, or what was that committee formed through?
It was,
Council
It
did
was-
not make any kind of.
Yeah,
No.
no, I don't remember that either.
no, it was formed initially to get a small group of kind of major players in North College
Right.
Hill to get together.
I remember
to-
that, but like, is it like where does it say stuff? Like, we have a piece of legislation saying who's supposed to be on the tree board. Like, is there like anything saying who's supposed to be on that?
There is.
Like guidelines or,
Yeah.
There are bylaws.
Okay.
that's the word I was looking
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank God we have a lawyer
Have
here.
to get that from Mr. Miller Novak as well.
Okay.
So,
And then do we need to make that a piece of legislation so that way that committee is concrete and not as easily?
or it needs to be officially,
or maybe it needs to be disbanded.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
it's,
it-
but right now, just leaving it in limbo isn't, probably not the right
It's not-
way
it's
to
not
leave
the
it.
right way to
Yes,
handle
that's what
it.
I'm trying to say.
So maybe, maybe honestly, if there's something that I want to do, I feel like I can just approach one of the committees that is already in place.
Yeah, instead of adding
And then
another
just,
avenue.
and,
Well, and I think that's what, like, we were kind of
or
running
just-
into a lot was, like, we were never sure, like, is UPC taking care of this? Is this committee taking care of this?
or if, and if nobody, I can, I'm a citizen. I can,
Right.
I can have a line dancing class if I want to. I mean, I don't have to,
Right?
I mean, anybody can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
I don't know. Just start a walking club, whatever, It was just, I don't know. It was a good idea at its
Yeah.
inception, I think, but I don't know that it's completely necessary.
I have a question. Which committee deals with website issues? I've totally forgotten.
I mean, I think it depends on what your,
College Hill.
I think it depends what issue you have.
Oh, now I can think. Should be probably public policy. I've tried to enter some violations on the website, and twice in the past 2 weeks, the request spins and falls out.
So we're actually
Violations.
talking in City Community Development and Recreation next month about code enforcement stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know if it has to do with code enforcement or public works, but I know that it's the same portal that the requests go through, so if you want to save it for then.
Yep, okay, thank you.
I don't know,
You said
just because it's already going to be
city,
talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a feeling she's
'Cause I
she's
ended up
thinking about
calling the
isolated issues, which could
police
be occurring
directly. Oh,
for
yeah.
residents trying to.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
Honestly, I would report that to Ron.
I would just talk to Ron about that, yeah, because that's not a
Because
that's
Ron
not a
It's not
council
a
thing.
committee thing.
Yeah, Ron
that's a-
ultimately owns the
Yeah, that's
website.
not council anything.
Right.
Because if it's falling out on me, it could be falling out on residents
everybody.
that are
Exactly.
trying
Right.
to go online.
Yep.
Okay, because it's more code enforcement. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Already get on
Okay.
track. Code enforcement. Thank
Okay.
you.
So we
Send
kind
them an
of branched
email.
off from council rules, but, so can we just, we'll go through them and figure out kind of what we need to figure out, and then we'll take that back to the committee of the whole.
Perfect.
Does that sound good? Okay. Any old business other than the form?
No, because I mean, we already talked about the organization of files, so.
Any new business?
Nope.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I think your committee is going to look at revamping, like, codes that are out there that might be duplicates. I almost wonder if that,
So I mean, I can just kind of give us a little summary of what, I've been talking to Fells about it and what we're planning on kind of doing. He had inquired administration about creating a task force for code enforcement. So it wouldn't really even be through a committee, but it would just be a separate task force to review like the legislation and the codes that are contradicting, talk about, all right, so this is a piece of legislation. Is code enforcement supposed to take care of it, or is police supposed to take care of it? And then stuff like funding and a bunch of different kind of stuff. We had like an hour-long conversation about it, but he was already coming to talk about the fireworks stuff. So that's why I said, well, why don't we just talk about creating a task force while you're there already? So that way he wouldn't have to come to a whole nother meeting. So that's kind of why I was going to talk about it in that committee, if that makes sense, because it's really not going to be in that committee. We would just discuss creating a task force for it.
And which committee was that?
I mean, we're going to talk about it when he's here for city community development and recreation, but
okay.
it would be a task force separate of a committee.
Okay.
To review the entire code?
Like he has the stuff that's contradicting and that's like unenforceable. Like it's stuff like you can't have your car parked on the street for over 24 hours unless it has a handicap sticker in it. Well, there are people in North College Hill who I guess are getting handicap stickers for their broken down cars that they don't feel like moving and putting them in there so that way code enforcement can't do anything about it. And so they're keeping these like rusted, broken down, unmovable cars on the street through the loophole of a handicap sticker.
I see.
Whether that handicap sticker is legitimate or not, I don't know, but yeah, so it's stuff like that. And then there were a few other things. I know a lot of the issue, which I mean, Sharand has brought this up too, where he was saying it's confusing because there's not a clear line of what is code enforcement supposed to take care of and what are the police supposed to take care of. And I think it's going to be a bigger discussion, and I think that there needs to be more players involved than the four of us here right now. But yeah, so that's why he wanted to create a task force so that way that could be specifically taken care of. And
Okay.
so he had approached administration about it, and I guess the ball kind of got dropped. So he and I were already talking about the fireworks stuff the other day on the phone. So he just brought it up saying, hey, I think it just slipped through the crack of administration. I don't think they purposefully didn't bring it up to us. So he just said, could you and I just take care of it? And I said, perfect.
We discussed at one time that maybe we didn't have enough employees working in the Department of Code
So
Enforcement.
since then, Brian has taken it over, and then he has brought on Doug Eikens, who
Okay.
I think both of them are just doing an amazing job. I don't
Okay.
think that either of them are the root of any of the issues. I think it's more the like legislation and the
Okay.
and the the overall structure of it.
Okay.
Is what they have told me. I mean, I don't know. I'm not versed in code enforcement, but based on people who are versed in it, that's what they've brought up to me.
I'd like to make 2 points, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one is, can we make sure that we look into the junk car? Because that would lead right into what you were referring to, and I believe there is some contradictions in the junk cars legislation that's out there. So I don't know who, maybe Dieters can look into what's all out there, but I'm pretty sure Scott Ritter wrote to us at one point and told us that there's discrepancies in that.
Mm-hmm.
I can look through my old email if you want me
Junk
to do
cars,
that.
like
There is
the
a
scenario
junk
I
car.
was talking about.
There's
or?
a junk car ordinance, but apparently there was something old. So there's a relatively new junk car ordinance,
Okay.
but I think it conflicts with something that is historically on the books or something like that.
I'm really hoping Fells is watching, so that way when I talk to him later, I don't have to re-explain what you just said. So, Fells, if you're watching.
And then the second thing, I was always under the impression that if a code enforcement item had a fine associated with it, that meant it was police enforceable.
Oh, okay.
So like, because the code enforcement guy can't do, or not, excuse me, not fines, but like, if it states that it's breaking the law, like breaking, like if it's a misdemeanor or
Ohio.
something like that,
Oh,
then
okay.
I think the police have to enforce it.
Excuse me.
That was my understanding.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see why they could blend.
Yeah,
Just
and I
like
mean,
I said,
Forget
yeah.
when I said the fine
on,
stuff. I didn't mean
Fells
that
isn't
one.
the one who brought up the line between police and code enforcement. I had talked to Doug Eikens about that, and Shran brought it up for the first time here, and then I had seen Doug out, and so he and I had talked about it, and he was saying that there was some blurred lines there that he was given too. But so I don't know, maybe they've even solved that since then, but I just know that there are a lot. I mean, and I'm not, us on council sitting here, aren't obviously going to
Excuse
know
me.
all the issues in code enforcement better than the Fells and Eikens are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything that you want to handle in your committee,
Yeah, I mean,
Go right on
not
ahead.
that, trust me, I don't want to, but I was like, well, if you're already going to be here and, I mean, it's going to be turned into a task force anyway, so I don't really think it would go through a committee anyway. Well, hopefully.
Okay, so, let me see. Any other old business, or, I'm sorry, new business, I should say. I did find the form from Maria's, was mailed, she emailed it to everyone, actually, on May 24th.
Wow, look how time
She called it the
flies.
staff report template.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can resend if somebody needs to.
Oh, it came right up as soon as I put staff report.
Did you see was Ron, because we have to officially ask him to start using it when he gives us legislation, right?
Yeah, we can just go through a motion, right?
Yes, he was.
He said,
He is.
he specifically said he didn't need a motion.
Yeah,
that
he
would
specifically
just-
said he wanted to do it, that it would be easier for him
Yeah.
as well.
Well, he was copied on the email, so, yes. So he should have it, and it's a fillable form, so it should be. And if it's not, even if it's not, it's a PDF, so if you have that version of of Adobe, you can fill the form, it should be fine. Okay, so if all hearts and minds are clear, that was our last agenda item, so we will adjourn this meeting. It is 7:20. We'll have a 10-minute something, and we'll reconvene at 7:30 for public safety. Thank you. Ready?
You got these minutes too?
Yep.
Favorite.
Good evening, and welcome to the North College Hill City Council Public Safety Committee meeting. I apologize that we're starting 5 minutes late. I'm your host, Erica Underwood.
I'm your co-host, Marjorie Anderson.
And I'm a fill in the blank, Mary Joseph.
Sorry, vice host.
I'm Marie Blythe.
So I'm going to remind everybody just to move your microphones closer to yourself when you're speaking, because when you're watching out there in TV land, it is very difficult. You cannot hear if you're not talking into the microphone. Like, we can't hear the speakers from the microphones in this room like we could in
Right.
council chambers, but you really just cannot hear.
It made me wonder, was the same thing going on when we were in council chambers? Something must have changed, maybe.
It could be, I don't know. I didn't notice it from those meetings, but I did notice because I watched the meeting when I was on vacation.
Okay.
Again, just a glutton for punishment, I guess. Okay, so have the meeting minutes. I have not received any police news, so I have nothing for you there. No fire department news, so I have nothing for you there. I did email a collective bargaining agreement to everyone. Has everyone,
I missed it, okay.
well, I know everyone has received it, but nobody has really had an opportunity to review that yet. Mr. Graver sent that, he called me yesterday and he sent it to me this morning. Of course, I sent it to you 2 hours ago. So I'm sure you all haven't had an opportunity to review that yet.
Sorry,
I don't really know what to do because he wants to put it on the agenda. So what do you all want to do?
So I was gonna ask, so on the part-time police agreement, there, I think whoever did it went in and just highlighted all the things that had changed.
I don't know that occurred.
Okay. Do you know what has changed on here?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure that I can figure that out, though.
Okay.
I'm sure Fells will know, and I can ask him. And Ron did indicate that he was going to be at the meeting, but it's starting to look like he's going to miss it before he gets here. So what do you guys want to do with this collective bargaining agreement?
I mean, we might as well just, is there a reason why it needs to be approved, like, tomorrow?
I'm just telling you what Mr. Graver told me. He said that he wanted to put it on council agendas for the first August meeting. And, you know, unfortunately, and he did send it to me either late last night or early this morning, but I have been in court since
Right.
8:15 this morning.
Right.
So I just haven't had an opportunity. I didn't get back to my office until 4 o'clock. So when I got back, I was, you know, I got it sent to everyone as quickly as I could, but
So is he leaving it up to you to forward it to the other 3 members and let them know it's on
No.
the the upcoming council
Well, no, we have
meeting?
to approve it to put
we
it on
would
the
have
agenda.
to, we all have to agree to send it to council to add to the agenda. That's why I'm asking you all what you want to do.
Okay.
I'm, in full disclosure, I have been either in court or visiting with clients all day.
All day.
So I just have not had an opportunity to read this document very carefully at all yet. I will take the opportunity, but, you know, so I just wanted to get a feel for
But you
what
haven't looked
the
at it
rest
either.
of you wanted to do.
I got you.
So you're not aware of why we are receiving it late? You don't know? Okay. Alrighty. Okay.
I would be curious if anything changed in it.
So
Yeah, I mean, sorry, that's all I'm really
I'm taking a poll. So what do you want to do, Mary Jo?
I would like to know what's changed.
Okay.
Are there any changes?
All right. Ms. Blythe?
I think that sounds logical also, because if it's similar, then we just need to know the changes.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Anderson?
Since we probably wanted to go through 3 readings, since it's so important, do we want to?
Okay. That other thing Mr. Craver told me was that he wanted us to suspend the readings, which,
Oh.
right, those faces, you're making faces. Okay.
I mean,
so-
I am okay. I'm all for suspending the readings when it's necessary, but I don't feel comfortable suspending the readings without even knowing what's changed on here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it sounds like we need to know what's changed.
Yeah.
And I don't
mean-
see myself having an extra meeting. I don't see that occurring. In August, it's not gonna happen. So.
That's
we'll-
fine.
We'll get the changes and I guess we'll, yeah, no. Okay, we'll figure out what's changed.
Can you also ask, I mean, maybe this will come up in the changes. In section 2.2, it says fire pack. The city will also provide payroll deductions to members for fire pack.
Political Action Committee?
Right, I know, yeah, I know what PAC stands for, but I'm just curious of what the city will provide payroll deductions to members for fire pack. I don't really understand what that means.
Not sure what that means either.
Yeah, so I don't, if, when we get the changes, if we could just get information on what that is, which I mean, I guess I could just ask in the moment, but I know that, that Ron likes to be kind of, made aware of what the questions are going to be before we ask them.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna, we'll table that for now so we can figure out what has changed. And and I'll also try to figure out like what the urgency is, if there's some kind of deadline or something that we
Oh,
need to meet.
It would appear to me that we already missed the deadline. Because if you look at the very first page, it says starting July 1st.
I saw
So
that
I would
and it
speculate
didn't
that we've already missed the deadline. So at this point, they're already working without a contract. Ta-da.
Which it just, all that really means is
that
that it
makes
just reverts
sense.
back to the previous contract
Exactly.
rules for
So
a
therefore,
while.
there's no fire. Fire, get it?
Right.
Joke.
I mean, so, I mean, if it works the same as teacher union contracts do, all that means is that if we're working without a contract, we just revert back to the system of the previous contract.
Right.
And unless, you know, that isn't feasible for the workers, and then the workers can take that up themselves. But I mean, for the meantime, because I mean, I don't see us having a giant issue with this. So I'm not seeing it being like a big agreement issue. I think it's more just of like a logistical time issue. So I mean, I can't see the workers really being super angry about it. But
That's correct. I remember that from my SEIU days. Yeah. Yep, you're correct. Brings back memories.
yeah,
Mhm.
currently going through that with my union. So
Fall back on the previous contract. Okay.
Okay,
You think maybe Mr. Mosby might know the meaning of a certain section?
2.2.
Yeah, maybe he might know since.
so
Mr.
good
Mis-
evening, Mr. Mosby.
Yes, good evening. I apologize.
Mr.
I'm your
Mosby.
host, Eric Underwood. I'll be guiding you. So the question, we're currently discussing the collective bargaining agreement. And I believe there was a question about what section 2.2 means.
I'm not sure. I apologize. I don't have that document in front of me, so I
I can
don't
read
know
it to you.
Yeah, if you can read it.
It says section 2.2 fire PAC, meaning political action committee. The city will also provide payroll deductions to members for fire PAC or other political action committees identified by the union. So what exactly does that mean?
The firefighters have a political action committee that they have formed, that they collect money, use that money for certain campaigns, so like levies or any other type of a political action that may take place. And what that does is it authorizes us, the city, to deduct that money directly from their paycheck to put into their political action committee,
So it's just more of a convenience thing.
basically.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
I
Also,
have a follow-up question from that.
Okay.
The city doesn't maintain, like, we just put it in some account somewhere, right?
We actually give it to them, and then, but I think the agreement that we have is that it will go directly into their account. But they manage the account, we don't.
Also, we were wondering if there is a document somewhere that exists where the changes only have been highlighted.
In this, normally that would be the case. So let me go back. The first contract that we had for the full-time firefighters was back a year ago in July. And at that time, we had everything in place except for the pay structure, because at that time the levy had not passed. So when we came, what we did was we said, okay, we will extend this contract, their first contract, until basically June, and then we would then add the pay structure in there that would show them what the pay scale is going to be. So that was basically the only change that we really had in that.
Just the pay scale?
Correct.
Okay.
It's keeping in line with what we had
Intended
agreed
with
upon,
the-
right, with
right.
the original levy.
And the unions, they're cool with this contract?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, with that question answered, I'm fine to send it to committee.
Council.
I mean, to council.
I would just like to point out one other thing pertaining to this contract. This contract and two other contracts are supposed to be on the agenda for next Monday's meeting. And I would ask if council would strongly consider, if it's possible, to suspend the rules and vote on it so that we can pass those pieces of legislation, and that would include specifically this contract that you were just talking about in front of you, which is the full-time firefighters, the part-time police officers, and then there is the contract for the parking lot for Dumley Park.
So why does this one need to be suspended and voted on so quickly? What is the purpose?
Just to ratify it and put it into effect so that they will be able to have their contract.
Okay. Is there like a, because I mean, it's not like they're working without a contract. It's not like we're not going to have firefighters. So is there like a, specific reason why you want this one put into place so quickly?
Other than the fact that I would want the firefighters to have the
Adjusted pay.
current contract, yeah. That and, excuse me, what you just brought up, that would happen anyway, but if we postpone it or delay it, what happens is we're gonna have to go back and then do retro pay for them.
But we're already going to have to do that because according to this contract, it started July 1st.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we don't have to go back any further than that, but yes, that is true.
Yeah, I just kind of, because I know, like, we always talk about, like, oh, not wanting to bring up past issues and talk about the past, and the past is the past. But it's just kind of frustrating when, the past always kind of reoccurs. I feel like with this kind of stuff, like, I feel like this happens really frequently where council isn't given enough time to consider something really important, like a bargaining agreement, and then we're kind of held to the fire saying, oh, if you don't approve this, then administration's going to have to do this. And it's like, I don't want to make any more work for anybody, and I also don't want to live in the past, but I just want to make it clear that I personally am frustrated that this kind of stuff happens, because I don't want anybody to have to work harder than they should or have to do something that isn't necessary. But it's just kind of frustrating that this kind of stuff keeps happening. And I mean, I understand we're staffed in administration, but this was happening when we were fully staffed, and
I'm not actually sure what you're talking about that is happening.
we frequently get legislation or contracts and then are told that if the readings are suspended, that there's going to be this issue, and this issue.
Well, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, but what I will say is that in most cases, and I'm not
referring to
talking
this
about our
contract.
city, I'm talking about in general, what happens is committee work is done at the committee level, which would be here. Questions would be asked. Those questions would be answered. And then it should just be forwarded to council to vote upon.
Right, exactly. And then in council, we are frequently asked to suspend readings.
Right, because there's no reason to delay it.
Well, no, there is reason. I mean, that law and that rule is made for a reason, because we want to give people adequate time to read it and to understand it. And for, let's say, Joe Citizen can't come on Monday in August, but they can come on Monday in September, and they want to come and they want to say this.
Well, I think the key here is, like, just right now, we have summer session. There are 3. This would be different, I think, if we were in Cincinnati, where they have council each week. We do not. We have 2 council meetings a month, unless you choose to have special council meetings. And that is the reason that even in the rules, there is that provision to be able to suspend, because you just don't have that many meetings a year. And so, yes, it would be, I totally agree with you, it'd be great if we could just be able to plan everything right at those right times. But if we don't do that, such as what happened in June, where there weren't enough people, and then there also weren't enough people in July, we do have things that came up, such as the tax budget, where a special meeting had to be done just so that we could make sure that we could get that passed so that we could forward it to the county. So all I'm asking is, as an administrator, wanting to make sure that we continue to keep things moving, there are certainly questions. This would be the place to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Once those questions are asked, there would be no other reason to hold up that process, which is why I asked or put that to council for consideration.
My
Yeah.
question for you, Mr. Mosby, is this the usual time for the contract to be completed, or what has caused delays in these contracts where we're getting them late? What is the cause of the delay in these 3 contracts
Well, we have
that
to
are
meet with
coming
the
up on Monday?
Right. Well, we have to meet with the
next council meeting.
representatives, of course. We have to, if there were typically any, major issues, we would have to then, work those out. So, we met with them in June. I think we also met once in July. But again, by the time we had met with them in July, and had it finalized, I can't remember the date, but the council meeting had already been held. So, other than that, I don't really have any, other. We try to make sure this particular one. Normally, the collective bargaining agreements end at the end of the calendar year. This one did not, because of what I said earlier. So we intentionally did not have this one end in December, so that we would be able to have time to, put it together and then be able to talk to the collective bargaining, the unit, so that we would be able to put it. We had already back in July said that it would go through June the 30th.
Okay.
So, most of the other ones do, and if you notice, most of the other ones do end on December the 31st.
Okay.
I would like to make a comment, and my only comment is, I guess I'm on the same kind of playing field where Marjorie is of the whole, and actually, Lori was kind of alluding to that, had we gotten this, I mean, our timetable was set in law. I
Yeah.
mean, the law says
Yep.
3 readings. So if the contract ended in July, then
This should have been brought to
you
us
should,
in April.
you should have worked backwards and gotten to us sooner. I guess that's my only comment.
Yeah.
And you're right, it always comes, for some reason, council's the one who always has to squeeze their schedule down, and nobody else seems to ever have to work faster, just us. And I guess it
Right.
just doesn't sit right.
No. Yeah,
That's where I am.
I would agree. So basically, what we're trying to say, we understand we can't fix this now. Okay, it stinks. We can't fix the legislation that happened in the past like this. Is there any way that you as an administrator can please make more of an effort to get legislation to council like this sooner, so that way it can be fully considered and follow the proper laws that are written for the 3 readings when possible? Is that something that you could possibly put an effort towards?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so I go back to my original question, what are we gonna do?
I mean, I might as well put it to council, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't care.
Lori?
Just scanning, I'm just kind of scanning through
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Are you okay with sending it to council?
I guess so, since it's late.
Okay,
And
All right,
then-
well,
then we
we'll,
can vote on if we want to
all right,
Spend, right?
suspend readings or not.
right, absolutely. I'll advise Mr. Graver. Now, he just sent me the agreement. I don't have the legislation, so I didn't not send it to y'all. I don't have it. So
Sure.
I'm positive.
Whoa.
Okay, because he did ask me to send, so I don't know, he asked me to send all 3, which all 3 had the legislation attached to the agreements.
Okay.
So unless he
Uh,
sent something.
Wait,
different.
So I'll even take that a step further, and we only have 1 in our
I just-
email.
Right, I have
the full-time
Full-time
firefighter.
fire.
firefighters and lieutenants.
Is it the preamble?
No,
Oh,
no.
we
No.
only have
No.
one.
He
So
may,
then
well,
no.
I apologize, he may not have, so that's why I wasn't sure, but he asked me to forward all of them. I know that and so all of them had the resolution attached to the agreements.
Good evening, Ms. Underwood. Please present this contract at the public safety meeting tomorrow. So he sent it to me yesterday, but that
No,
was
okay,
it.
so, no, so I'll make sure to be clear.
Oh.
I forwarded him,
I forgot to add scooters.
That's okay.
I'll add it to the next agenda. Well, we can talk
forwarded that
about
to
it
him
on
this
the-
Yeah, I can just talk, I can
Business.
just add it during new business.
Okay. Okay. So this is all we have, so just,
right, I understand that now.
And to get on the agenda, it has to be to the clerk by Thursday.
Well, it's already to the clerk, so.
Well, it shouldn't be,
Shouldn't, yeah.
because according to our council rules, that should be sent by our president to the clerk.
It
and
was
the
sent
president.
to the president, and I know that the clerk has it, so.
Right, but that's just not following our procedure. But I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
But-
I don't want to, because that's not my intent was to convey to you that he does have all three of the agreements with the resolutions.
Okay, and I just, because I'm your hostess, I kept calling myself a host, but I am a hostess because, my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Nobody cares. So,
Hungry. Something to eat now.
I don't know.
So.
Just trying to add a little levity. So but you know who you're dealing with. You know us as a group. And while we have the agreement, we don't have the legislation.
Yeah.
So that may be an issue. I'm not foreseeing or foretelling issues, but, if it may be a good idea to send everyone the legislation before the meeting, that would be,
Where are the
I'll
other,
request that.
where are the other two contracts for us? I mean,
I'll
We could-
request whatever
could
you want
browse
us to
those
consider.
before the
That
meeting.
you send it to us
The
as soon as
part-time-
possible.
The part-time the part-time police officers we looked at in budget and finance
Okay.
a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And then this is the full-time. And then the Dumley Park, I think Aria sent to us.
Oh, I missed it then, okay.
I
let
could
me-
totally be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she sent that to us, right?
Okay.
I'm getting head nods.
You know what?
I haven't looked at that, but I know that she sent that to us.
I think she did, and I saw it, and I didn't open it. You're right, I
Yeah,
apologize.
but that
Yeah.
hasn't been approved by a committee yet, so I don't think that would go to council.
And I would just like to say that I think
Okay.
that
I did see it,
in our
thank you.
efforts to work very well together, that now we're kind of mixing what committees are doing, and it's very confusing. The Dumley Park legislation, to me, should come from community development.
I agree. It
And-
wasn't given to me
and
or brought
I-
up to me at all.
I mean, I know, but
Yeah.
it just, and it seems like the police contract should have come to public safety.
To public safety, I would
But
agree.
it's just, I don't care
Overlapping.
because we all get along, but,
Yeah,
future council may not get along like that,
Right.
I don't know, so,
yeah, I would agree.
yeah. It's okay.
I think I did view this, and I forgot. I think I did view this, but I can look at it again.
Yeah, because I'm sure if it was sent, I have it somewhere, but it would be nice to say, oh, Dumley Park, let me search for Marjorie's name.
7/12.
Right.
It
7/12,
was sent to you on 7/12.
7/12, okay. Okay, all right,
You know what?
all good.
Sure.
So, Mr. Mosby, what will we be expecting?
I'm assuming that you were looking for the resolution and collective bargaining agreements for the police and fire.
We have the police though, right?
That was approved in budget and finance to
Right.
be sent to the.
Do we have
to
the
council.
resolution?
That's what I was saying.
We have it already, or you're going to send it?
I will send, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, you'll
That's what I will
okay.
send. I will send the resolution and the contract for police and fire. So in other words,
Okay.
part-time police and full-time firefighters.
Okay. Okay.
And both of those are going to be, because what happened in budget and finance is what happened in budget and finance, but from this committee, we are approving to send full-time firefighter contract to council. Even if we haven't looked
Yes.
at, okay,
Right.
Okay.
Well,
gotcha.
and Mr. Mosby is going to send us the resolution, right?
Yes,
Yes.
okay. Just making sure, okay, cool.
So we can take a look at it. Okay.
I forgot the procedure again, I apologize. We're viewing this now. I did ask, when will the rest of council get this?
On the next council meeting.
Oh, so
On Thursday, when Christian sends, and then the clerk sends out the
Okay.
agenda and all the legislation with it.
so they won't be, so per our rules, they won't be able to see it any earlier than a day or two before?
Well,
Thursday. Yep.
well, they could see it a day or two before that if Mr. Mosby sends it to us. And he has indicated that he will, so.
Okay, I just
believe you will.
want them to be able to have the the other 3 people the time to review this if they
sure.
choose to.
I'm sure he'll send it to us. We annoy him from time to time, but I'm sure he'll send it to
Okay,
us.
I just, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. That was a little funny. You know it was funny. He's not laughing, but it was funny. Okay, so old business. Anybody have anything about the traffic calming study? Oh, I do. I found the coolest thing when I was on vacation and just looking at random things. So, there are rumble strips in California where if you are going the speed limit, it plays a song. I want you guys to, it's very cool. So if you're speeding, you don't hear the song. You have to go exactly the speed limit to hear the song on the rumble strips. So yes, there is a YouTube video. I'm just saying, I don't know if they'll do
Sounds
that
like it should have like a ugly warning or
at
an
20.
annoying sound if you're going like 10 over or something,
Positive reinforcement is proven to work
Right.
better than negative, so I don't
You're
know.
right. You're right.
Well,
just
hang
saying.
on. We could do it a Beatles tune, because don't they say when you play a Beatles tune backwards? What is it? Okay, yeah, I'm older.
No, I
than-
know what you're talking
I'm
about.
older than everybody here.
I've
so
watched
it
too many
knows what I'm talking
documentaries
about.
to not know yet.
All right.
Thanks for sharing that.
We could play some happy song, just if you're going 25 miles an hour, you
Yeah.
hear the song, but if you're
We can
going,
even write a
if
song
you're
for
going 30, you don't hear it. I don't know, it might encourage people to, I'm just saying, everybody should Google the song and on the rumble strips on the
Rumble
highway.
strips.
It's in
California.
California,
Okay.
yes.
Got to be creative in today's world.
It was very cool, and I have no idea how that came up. Oh, yes, I do. I know how. Pat Boss told me about it. Patricia Boss, who is an attorney in North College Hill,
That's so cool.
told me about it, and I looked it up, and I was like, man, that is really cool. So there were people driving up and down the highway to hear the song, but they were going the speed limit, because if you went over,
Right, you
didn't
couldn't
hear
understand it.
So,
That's funny.
and I don't know if they do that at a low speed like 25, but that would be a cool way to keep people going 25.
It reminds me of the test on the birds, where if the bird does the right thing, the door opens and he can peck at some seed. Kind of, like you said, positive reinforcement.
Absolutely, yes. And I
Okay.
also had another idea for traffic calming. Instead of trying to put like those big, you know how we have those big divider things on Hamilton Avenue. What we could do in that lane where everybody just kind of illegally speeds by you when you're going 25 miles an hour, we could put some really sharp speed bumps so that, and just in the center lane,
Yeah.
then that might stop some folks from,
From the
flying.
people who like illegally pass through, yeah.
yeah. I'm just a thought, there wouldn't be on the main drag, it would be just in that lane where it's supposed to be a turn lane anyway.
Right, so it's
where
a
you
turn
should
lane
be like not going over there driving down the lane.
Right.
So for those
That's not
folks.
the positive reinforcement that you were talking about, is it?
Listen, as a teacher, I approve it.
It's teacher approved.
Yeah, it's teacher approved.
You know, when
fine.
you're entering North Side, a jogger maybe 4 or 5 months ago got hit.
Right.
But as soon as you enter kind of like residential, almost business, you can no longer pass to the right to pass
Right.
up someone when you get to the main part. Because if you get to that part, you're typically speeding to pass them. So they eliminated the going south, they eliminated the 2 outer lanes.
I was just talking about that with my mom.
I was
keep
like,
making
that's
it
They
kinda
have,
fun.
yeah, they
creative.
have parking all along the
Yep.
street in North Side, and then they have these things at the corners.
Yep.
So
I was
you
just-
can't
Pass
Yep.
them up.
can't go around anymore at the corners
Yep.
down there, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
And I really like those signs that we have that kind of rotate throughout North College Hill, like full stops are free. I think that's clever. And
I've seen those.
drive like your children live here, of course. For
I've also, so I live that neighborhood right there. And so when I walk my dog, I walk her out of the neighborhood, and then we cross at the new crosswalk right outside here.
Right.
And I've noticed, even like just driving and walking across it all the time, like just having that there, I feel like has really slowed cars down.
Right.
Because I think that they're more aware that it's a high pedestrian area when there are things like that out. Because
Right.
I don't think that people drive through a city like, oh, I cannot wait to break this city's law. I think a lot of times it's just that you don't realize that the city is 25 miles per hour for a reason.
Right.
And when you put things like that there, it shows them the reason why this city is 25 miles per hour at the highest.
Right.
So I wonder if even that could be a effective thing to do up Hamilton and Galbraith, is just instead of putting, because I know you and I had discussed previously putting more traffic lights or stop signs, what if we just kind of look into putting more pedestrian crossing areas more frequently down Hamilton and Galbraith? Is to kind of, I mean, to encourage pedestrian
to-
traffic,
yeah.
to encourage, you know, slowing down, to, you know, encourage walking in our city. I mean, I think that that could be like a cost-effective way up up and down Hamilton and Galbraith.
And you made me think of, it's so funny, it's like after the Kroger in Mount Airy closed, they finally got the pedestrian crosswalk put in. So I guess for the city, it must be a long time to get that process, because it went up like a month or so after Kroger closed. So that was kind of interesting. But driving that way, it does make you slow down, because you see
you'll see the flashing lights
and you see the reinforced sidewalk.
Yeah.
But people on Nextdoor were just trying to figure out why it took so long, because it's there now, but Kroger has closed. So that was kind of a interesting thing. But maybe it just takes a while to get them put in and approved for the city.
Right. I'm
Yeah,
not
on
su- yeah,
on Coleraine Avenue.
Right, yeah, I'm not really certain.
Are there any further plans that administration has for further traffic calming measures in the city that we should be made aware of?
Well, one of them you were just discussing. So when we put in an application to improve Galbraith Road, that the rumble strips are part of that improvement.
I'd like to suggest a song. I'm just,
Oh, okay. So that's if you try to go in the center and pass
Is that
someone.
Yeah, so is that
Okay.
if you
I
try to go
remember
in the
that.
center?
And pass someone.
Correct.
Okay, so then they,
Okay.
okay. So then those wouldn't be what you're talking about, as in like going the right speed limit. It would be if they try to go into the center, there will be rumble strips, kind of what you were saying about putting the speed bumps in the middle. There will
yeah.
instead be rumble strips in the middle. Gotcha.
And
Yeah, is it-
we will be having some additional speed humps in the budget for 2023.
Gotcha.
Sounds good.
Anything else because I thought it was kind of funny. I guess council, we just weren't made aware of it, but last time we met, we were talking about adding the school zone signs, and then I feel like the next day they went up. And obviously it had nothing to do with what we were talking about, because that kind of stuff takes more planning than 24 hours. But I just want to be made aware of, so that way we're not, talking about something that is already planned or taken care of. But yeah.
Okay.
okay. So I also have Prospect Place on the agenda because I said I was going to leave it on there until it's fixed. It's supposed to be fixed in 2023, so I would imagine that.
All right. Well, we did. I mean, we've started the loan process for that, so that's underway. I mean, the same thing with Loran and Dordogne. So
Woohoo.
Yeah, well, and again, I'm sure my colleagues love the fact that I am just not going to let this go. But
Me as a member of Loran Lane, appreciate it.
so
She's not pursuing Loran, she's pursuing Prospect.
Yeah, but it helps. Every time you bring a Prospect, Dordine and Loran get brought up, so it helps.
yes, it's just yeah. So all right. We already talked about speed humps. Mr. Mosby just said that there was going to be some room in the budget for some more next year. Very exciting. I've heard some grumblings about them, so I was very excited about that.
Then that's good.
Yes, that is a great thing. So,
I would think that, of course, with any type of modification that you make to traffic, there are always going to be people who will complain because now they've, quote unquote, been inconvenienced. But I will say, in all honesty, that the feedback that we have received has actually been quite positive.
right, I've
I have
received some
too.
positive and
Yeah.
I'm not going to say negative. I'm just going to say, you're driving too fast, clearly.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. That's
So
the
Correct.
that's why your car did what it did.
Yep,
So-
me too.
Well, unfortunately, that's why we have to put those out
Right.
because
Right, because
clearly they're not doing
there
the
are
speed
kids
limit.
everywhere.
Right.
Off College
Everywhere.
Heads.
And what and I have said this to council before, but I will reiterate it, is that, in times past, certainly when you lived here before, and of course, I've been here 25 years, but when my kids were going to school, they were going to Clovernook. So all they had to do was cross Clovernook Avenue, and then that was it. Every student who attends our school system now has to go to that one campus.
Right.
Which means that all of our kids, those that live in every other quadrant except for the northwest quadrant, have to cross either Galbraith or Hamilton.
And that's
That
dangerous.
we're now sending, almost 1,600 kids
It's
there. So you're right, we are, that is an issue that we have to make sure that we, do address, and that, that's what we're doing. I was actually just today talking to Waterworks, because they're going to begin at some point. I don't have the firm date yet, but when they begin installing the water line, we were talking about maintenance traffic on Hamilton Avenue. And we need to, and that was the one thing that I said, no matter what, we need to make sure that that work isn't going on when kids are going to school or coming from school. We don't need all of that activity going on at that time, so.
I have a question kind of regarding that. So, I super much love the 20 mile per hour signs by the school, but it starts after St. Paul's, and St. Paul's is a school. How much of an issue would it be to move the sign to before St. Paul's on Hamilton? So that way, because that is a school.
So
So-
they've been included in the school
Right.
zone?
Could that be included in the school zone? Does that make sense?
Well, it's not actually a school. I know what you're talking about. There is a childcare there.
Daycare.
It's a
It's a
preschool
Head
and
Start.
kindergarten.
It's a Head Start.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's a
Yeah.
day-
So then,
But it's not
legally-
considered a school.
so could we not legally put that sign before that, or?
Um,
Because I feel like morally it would make sense to. I mean, I went to preschool there and we walked to school there.
So right now, the sign is on the southbound lane, just south of Bising. Is that the sign that you're talking about?
Just south of Bising, right? And the
South of
school
Bising.
is on Bising.
Correct.
So could it just be on the corner of, I don't want to obviously make more work than necessary, but
I do.
I just feel like morally,
Kids.
I mean, that would be the best thing for our city to do, is to put it before St. Paul's.
If we can.
Yeah, if it's possible to do. Just put it on the,
Yeah, well, I'll have to talk to electrical people, but I can,
Engineers.
yeah, I can see if that's something that we can do.
yeah.
We'd have to probably put it on the north side of Bising, and so that's,
Yeah, I mean, right where, because there's already electrical there then,
Bising.
because the north side of Bising is where that crosswalk is.
Yeah,
So
they've
just
been
put it
included.
right where that crosswalk is. Just add another flashing pretty sign there.
So I have a question under new business. There's no sign at Galbraith and Bake Street.
Where's that?
Right. So it's
Okay.
Same Mermaid.
it's right before you get to Loboito. And Loboito has this big, beautiful sign right in the center of the road. But then Bake Street, there's no sign. It
oh, I
fell
got
off
you.
the pole.
Okay. I got you.
So you'd have
Yes,
to
we have been
know-
we actually been doing some siren replacements, so I will bring that one up.
Right, yeah.
I
there's-
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Especially
so,
for how much mutual aid we get over there.
Yeah, that would
That would make me
concerning.
nervous. Like if we get mutual aid from Coleraine.
Yeah.
Not on bake.
I did
I mean, we get
contact,
mutual aid from anywhere.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
look
if
at the
somebody
thank
from
you,
Mount
'cause,
Healthy or Coleraine
No,
comes,
we've
it
been,
doesn't
that's
matter
what we've
which
been
year.
doing for the past few months, is making sure that we're
Okay.
getting.
Yeah, there's no, the sign that was there,
Okay.
I think, just fell down or something.
I appreciate that.
So,
I did
It's,
contact online. I don't know if I have a copy of it, but on Savannah, let's see, you're going south on Savannah, and when you get ready to make a right on Sterling, there was no sign for Sterling there, so I don't know how people would know. Say, you know, you're on Savannah after you've left Long John Silver's, and when you go down past the bars, if you want to make a right on Sterling, there was no sign there. But that was a little over 3 years ago, so not sure if it was replaced or not.
Well, I'll write it down. I've been working, fire department and public works have been working to get a lot of the signs replaced, because we did have several. So I did put that one down as well.
Okay, thank you.
The two streets mentioned were Bake Street. And then what was your street?
Sterling and Savannah.
Sterling and Savannah,
Thank you.
I'm bad with south on Savannah, making a right on Sterling. Yes.
Sounds
It wouldn't
good.
matter. It was,
I just
it's
wanted
probably
to put
one way.
I just wanted to put
'Cause
for
it's
the
one
minutes,
way,
So
correct.
that way, if we add this to the agenda for next.
I know what you mean, it's one way.
so
Yeah.
Are we officially on a new business?
yes.
Okay. So, okay. I have something for new business is what I should start out with before I just go into this. So,
Uh-oh.
So I had noticed, we talked about this at the last council meeting, but I'll give another little summary. So over by Perkins, there were like 5 or so of the Lime electrical scooters. So I called Mr. Mosby and I said, "We have Lime electrical scooters now?" And he said, "No, we do not." And so then we got it taken care of. Well, he did. And thank you very much for that, by the way. And they were picked up by Lime and blah, blah, blah. And then I happened to be talking to Ms. Orb, and we were like, well, wait, I know that other cities have legislation for this, and maybe we could too. So then I brought it up at the last council meeting, and Mr. Graver said that he would like it in this committee. But I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know enough about it, and obviously this is the place to discuss it and to research it. But I know that we do have a lot of pedestrian issues and speeding issues, and I just don't know if we would want to, or if it would even be safe to add electrical scooters into the mix. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's legislation that.
My only concern
useful.
about the scooters are that downtown people ride on the sidewalks, even though they're not supposed to. But, you know, I almost get run over by them all of the time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want people riding those things on sidewalks where we have kids
Yeah.
walking, because, or even kids riding them on the side. All kinds of things can go wrong with that. But, you know, I'm just one person. But that's what I'm thinking. Like, how do we keep people off the sidewalks with those things?
Well, there
we
is a way that you could do it, if I may interject, but with every solution, there comes another issue. You all mentioned North Side, and you were talking about those white, they're like bollards that they have around. The reason for some of those is because what they
Slanted.
were doing was protecting certain, not only pedestrians, but also bikers. And so so conceivably, a bike lane could be created, in which case a scooter would be one of the permitted uses of the bike lane. Of course, now what I'm saying is the drawback of that is the only place that you're going to be able to put a bike lane is on the street.
Right.
So if you put it on the street, you're reducing the amount of driving lane for drivers to
Which might-
drive through.
Which might be a good thing, honestly.
So
That'll slow
Traffic
traffic down.
Yeah.
I know in
Congestion
the
during
city,
rush hour.
in Madisonville, for example, and I'm only using that one neighborhood, they actually did take the entire lane on Madison Road, and they dedicated that to a bike lane. So it does do exactly what everyone just said. It reduces the, it reduces basically the traffic to, I think, one lane, so all of it has to drive down to one lane. But again, that is a possibility. But again, we would have to, you just have to think of what the.
I mean,
the
if we're
impact of that.
already redoing Hamilton, you know what I mean? That would kind of be.
Do you need to do another traffic study if you,
Absolutely. In that case,
yeah.
absolutely. Because you're talking about,
yeah.
obviously, as you all know, there is a lot that could impact that. The 17, which is the bus. that
Right.
travels
Oh,
north
yeah.
South on Hamilton.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
the third highest, the third most used route in Sorta.
Oh, geez.
So there's a
Probably not.
lot of people that use that. That means that bus is coming up and down, the street all the time. So there's that has to be taken into consideration. And, of course, Hamilton Avenue, which is a US route, 127 is a very heavily used traffic route. So, yes, I would absolutely say that a traffic study would be most appropriate in that case.
Probably
And we would have to
mandatory.
really give that some consideration.
Probably mandatory since it's a state route. We just, yeah.
I mean, we could put it, we could certainly put it in the budget for next year to do a study, and then we could see about that. TEC, they usually do a really good job on there.
Another idea would be to, instead of those islands in the center, and I know there were people who were really proud of those islands, but we could also turn that into one of those lanes that changes directions. Like sometimes it's
Yep.
going this way, sometimes it's
Yep.
going this way.
Those can
If
be
you create the bike
can
lanes
they
on
be
the side.
dangerous?
And, it just changes direction. I don't know, it's just an idea.
There's a
We used
reason
to
they call
have
those a
that-
suicide lane.
They used to have that, was it the Western
avoid
Hills
those.
Viaduct? It used to change lanes at certain times a
Yep.
day.
And I grew
And
up
they got rid of
in
that,
Cleveland when
I
they
believe.
did something
Must have
like
been
that as
dangerous.
well. They would have, like 5 lanes coming out of downtown, during rush hour and only 1 lane. But I do agree with you,
That could be
sometime a person who's
risky.
not paying attention or, something like that, it could be a
Or you get a new driver even.
situation.
Or an out-of-towner or someone
when they-
distracted with their cell phone. I can see where they got rid of it.
When they do traffic studies, and especially when they start talking about solutions, that is one of the things that they do. They say, and they look at they basically have a standard practice where they look at what they would consider to be the 4 options.
Okay.
So, this is really funny. I really hope my mom's watching because she and I were talking about this exact thing like 3 hours ago. And she mentioned that another issue could possibly be, because we're right off of a highway, is you might want the 4 lanes instead of 2 for that highway traffic of coming off and on. So I wonder if even taking out the islands just by the or closer to the highway, which I don't even think that we have one very close to the highway, and then making that center lane something. But I don't know. I mean, I think if we're even having this much of a conversation about it, and hopefully with the improvement of our business district, hopefully we will have more pedestrian traffic. Hopefully we will have more bike traffic, and maybe people will want to bring scooters up here. And if so, I think they should be able to, but I just wouldn't want to do it if it can't be safe. So, I mean, I think it's worth a traffic study.
Okay. How did the Lime scooters get up here?
Somebody's
Somebody
probably took
just-
them from College Hill. We
Oh.
don't know. I don't know. Mr. Mosby and I both didn't know. But I'm assuming somebody just was got them in College Hill or something and then
And
rode
just
them
rode
up here to
them all the way over
Perkins
here.
and
Right.
right, because they were literally right outside of Perkins. So I'm assuming somebody like went to North College Hill or went to College Hill, brought them up here from there. But yeah.
It certainly sounds like something worth looking into, because I think north side traffic has definitely slowed down because I was behind somebody who was super annoying this morning because they were going 15 miles an hour, and I'm like, not necessary, just
Right.
completely not necessary. But you couldn't get around them, so
Right.
everybody was going 15 miles an hour. So it was all the way down the hill, 15 miles an hour.
Yeah,
So-
it alarmed me because I know where the slanted rumbles start, that was actually the intersection that the lady crossed and got hit by the car, where they start. When you're going south on Hamilton, where the slanted rumbles that keep you from passing people up.
Are
as
you
soon as
talking about on the hill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, after you go the sharp curve, the extremely sharp curve, that intersection where the slanted rumbles start, she was actually crossing Hamilton, and that's where she got hit.
There is one other topic
Chilling.
that I don't know that we really dove into that far. Do we want to, in our immediate future, do we want to pass legislation that says you can't ride those
That's
on the
what I was-
sidewalk?
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Or even, well, because I think that is already a thing, right? That you can't ride them on the sidewalk.
But I
In
think
the
that's
city of
in the city
Cincinnati, yeah.
Cincinnati.
You're right, sorry.
So I think we should. I
But
think that would be a good idea, but
I
I mean,
would-
we don't have them here, but
honestly, I would also be nervous though if they're riding them in the street. So I don't know.
So then
If-
so that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I just would rather, for the time being, make them not a thing, period.
So just ignore them and act like they'll go away?
No, make legislation to say they're not allowed in the city of North College Hill, and period. I just don't think that it's, I mean, that's what I'm saying, but I'm also one person.
yeah, I don't.
So my opinion is they should not be on the sidewalk, and I think we've pretty much
Yeah.
agreed to that as a group.
right,
Is
I could
that
agree
fair?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's
But
fair.
but then I think that we still have at this point a speeding issue in this city.
Yes, yes.
And so if we allow those scooters on the street, we're saying they can't go on the sidewalk,
So then
which
there's-
means
right.
we're forcing them to the street. And what's that going to do?
It's
Right, that's what I'm
dangerous.
saying.
Speedings.
That's exactly why I'm
dangerous
saying,
for
I
them.
think if we're gonna say they're not on the sidewalk, I'm not comfortable with saying, okay, you're not on the sidewalk, so go in the street. I'm not comfortable with that. I'd rather just say,
How fast can they go? Do we know? Anyone?
Pretty fast, because, I don't know, I mean, I don't know, there are some people who ride them reckless, you know.
is this a
just-
conversation, maybe we wanna,
Not 10 miles per hour.
Oh,
They're
okay.
pretty.
They're
can-
not,
they
they
can
don't
get
get up
moving.
to
Those are the
20 or
electric ones.
20. They don't get up to 20 or 25 or
I'm not sure that they don't, but typically they're about
10 miles per hour.
do we maybe wanna invite Chief Schrand to like the next public safety meeting, just kind of include him in this conversation? Cause he may have kind of a comment about it too. Cause I don't know, I'm kind of on this kick right now where I just don't really feel comfortable making legislation without hearing, the opinions of the people who are going to enforce it, because I don't want to make a piece of legislation and then, you know,
Right,
So according
it not
to
be enforceable.
according to Google, a Bird scooter can go 15, a Lime 14.8, Spin's 15, and Bolt is 15. So it looks like they max out at 15 miles an hour.
Okay.
which is pretty fast if you're walking.
Yeah,
It is,
Oh,
but
yes.
it's not. It's not pretty fast if a car is speeding going 35.
Absolutely.
And most
Not
of them
fast
don't
in the
we're
street.
helmets. I don't see a lot of them.
right, and you're
I don't
supposed
see
to.
anybody wearing
Bring
helmets, and you're
helmets.
absolutely supposed to, for sure.
We just don't see on the news, I think, all the accidents that people encounter on scooters. I don't think it makes the news.
No, it makes the ER.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, are there any other new business? We'll table that and we'll come back to it for sure. Any other new business?
Are you going, are you going to reach out to Chief Schrand to invite him to the next meeting to
I
discuss this?
will.
Okay,
That's
thank
one of
you.
my action items. Okay, so it is 8:35. It's been exactly 1 hour. You know I like to respect everybody's time, so this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you for your time.
Good meeting. Thank you.